So what do you know? More Epstein lies from the MAGA contingent, as it turns out that Speaker Mike Johnson's claim on camera that President Trump was actually the hero and acted as an FBI informant to bring down Jeffrey Epstein was an alternate fact. As today, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt publicly and flatly denied it, firmly throwing MAGA Mike under the bus, calling it false and affirming that Trump merely expelled Epstein from Mar-a-Lago, nothing more. Leaving Mike Johnson looking, well, even more ridiculous than usual.
Go ahead.
About the Epstein case, would the White House support a professional handwriting expert review of the document released yesterday to prove that it's not the president's signature?
Sure, we would support that. And in fact, I have already seen many forensic analysts of signatures coming out. I believe it was the Daily Signal that published a piece with 3 separate signature analysts who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature.
You know, Mike Johnson, he came out and said that the president was an FBI informant. Do you know what he meant by that, if it's not true?
I can affirm that is not true.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
If you recall, Johnson made the bombshell comment last week as he rambled to try and deflect any wrongdoing regarding his fearless cult leader, claiming that Trump, quote, was an FBI informant.
And he's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
This even reportedly left the White House baffled, and by Monday, Johnson had walked it back, and he insisted he was merely repeating remarks from a victim's attorney that Trump, quote, helped law enforcement at one point. Not that he was wild or formally collaborated with the FBI at all, nor has it been corroborated that he did work with law enforcement.
He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
What I was referring to in that long conversation was what the victim's attorney said. More than a decade ago, President Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, and he was one of the only people, one of the only prominent people, as everyone has reported, not President Trump, but everybody about him, that he was willing to help law enforcement go after this guy who's a disgusting child abuser, sex trafficker, all the allegations. That's what they heard. So the president was helpful in that. I don't know if I use the right terminology, but that's common knowledge, and everybody knows that. So this is much ado about nothing.
Was he ever asked to wear a wire or anything like that?
I have no idea. No, I'm not saying that. I have no information about that whatsoever. I was repeating what has been common knowledge for a long time. The president was helpful in trying to get Epstein, for law enforcement to go after Epstein. That's always been my understanding. That's common knowledge. It's the public's understanding. I was not breaking news there.
And today, chief propagandist Karoline Leavitt had her marching orders: deny and firmly throw MAGA Mike under the couch. Sorry, that was J.D. Vance. Under the bus.
You said the Epstein documents are a hoax that Democrats are perpetrating against the president. You've said he didn't sign that check, that he didn't sign the birthday card that he allegedly signed. So what is the theory, since these documents came from the Epstein estate? Who is, I guess, in your view, faking these documents?
I did not say the documents are a hoax. I said the entire narrative surrounding Jeffrey Epstein right now that is absorbing many of the liberal cable channels on television is a hoax that is being perpetuated by opportunistic Democrats like Ro Khanna and the others whom you saw on that press conference outside of Capitol Hill, who are trying to push this hoax against the president of the United States.
What exactly is the hoax? I'm just trying to understand what's fake. What's fake is not the documents.
The hoax is the Democrats pretending to care about victims of crime when they do not care about victims of crime, when they have done nothing to solve crimes, when they have done nothing to lock up child pedophiles and child rapists across the country, and when they are now using victims as political props to try and, again, smear the president of the United States and drag on this bad story about him. It is a distraction. The Democrats view this story as nothing more than an attempt to distract from the accomplishments and the achievements of this administration.
The Labor Department reported U.S. job openings dropped to a 10-month low of 7.18 million in July.
Disappointing jobs data. Only 54,000 private sector jobs added. And look at this, the yield on the 10-year Treasury below 4.2%.
At the White House briefing, she said, quote, I can affirm that is not true, and reiterated the apparently real story that Trump expelled Epstein, an action he claimed was because he was, quote, stealing the help, something that posed quite a timeline problem for Trump, seeing as he would go on to heap praise on Jeffrey Epstein in the New York Magazine expose after he was alleged to have taken workers from Mar-a-Lago.
You know, Mike Johnson, he came out and said that the president was an FBI informant. Do you know what he meant by that, if it's not true?
I can affirm that is not true. I think the speaker was referring to the fact that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago property.
But what is striking here is how the Trump team's Epstein story keeps morphing. I mean, we all recall Pam Bondi claiming on national TV that she had the files on her desk.
And this is something Donald Trump has talked about. The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
Everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
And since then, the narrative has continued to zigzag. From Trump being the hero who banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago to Johnson floating the wild notion of him as an undercover FBI informant, which flew in the face of Trump calling it a hoax. Why would he be an informant for a hoax? But anyway.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more. And nobody's ever satisfied.
Today he called it a hoax while these women were speaking out and they were saying, we're not a hoax. We're human beings. And I think we need to see something turn around there.
You know,
and I'll say this here.
He can prove it's a hoax by releasing it. Let us decide if it's a hoax or not. I mean,
it's insane that they're just being like, yeah, no, everything's cool above board. Don't worry.
It's like Trump dog.
Yeah.
It's tough not to fucking point some fingers.
Huge question.
You got killed while you were president.
Yeah.
And you were there. There's so many photos of them chilling.
Allegedly hung with his staff. Allegedly hung with his staff.
The cope on Trump's innocent. The cope is fucking pretty intense.
And then on to today's categorical denial from Caroline Leavitt. It's less a consistent defense than a, choose your own adventure novel and just edit it whenever the headlines demand. But here's the problem, right? It comes at a political cost. The public is not buying it or ignoring the issue at all. A Reuters Ipsos poll finds that 69% of Americans believe Trump's administration is withholding Epstein-related documents, giving him just 17% approval on the issue, his worst-rated topic. And even among 2024 Trump voters, 70% doubt his handling of the Epstein files, and 1/4 would even consider defecting to another party if Trump were to be implicated. Meanwhile, polling shows that across the board, only 31% of Americans see Trump as, quote, honest and trustworthy, with 53% saying he is not.
Look at the issues. Look at this. These are all the key issues. Donald Trump is underwater on all of them. Trade, obviously, tariffs have been a big thing at the bottom of your list, minus 17 points. The economy, which was the reason he was elected to a second term to fix the economy, way underwater at minus 14 points. Foreign policy, minus 12. And then I think, Mr. John Berman, the key two issues at the top, because these have been Donald Trump's strongest issues, crime and immigration. But get this. He is now underwater on both of these issues, if barely, but he's underwater on crime at -2, immigration at -3. On all the key issues, he is again swimming with the fishes. Consistency across the board.
It is interesting, though, because the difference here does explain why even with these jobs numbers, which were historically bad on Friday, this is what he's focused on today. He'd rather be talking about this than this.
Absolutely.
Today, it's Johnson's informant claim that proves to be false, joining an endless list of spin attempts to try and deflect from Trump's involvement. But with poll numbers slipping and voter trust eroding, the bigger story may be how long Trump can continue this, for it's time to face the reality. The American people are not buying it.
It's frustrating because we talk about being fiscally responsible and we talk about free speech. And right now, as we're having these discussions, you know who's trying to shut down members from voting in the way that they want to vote? It's the president. who literally said he would look at anyone who decided that they were going to vote to release the Epstein files as hostile. That sounds like a threat as it relates to all First Amendment protections, in addition to the fact that it's literally contravening our constitutional duty that we swore an oath to, because we don't swear to an orange king. Instead, we have sworn an oath to the Constitution, and we were elected to represent the people that elected us. Thank you so much. And
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.